Join us for the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast, where we discuss matters close to the heart. This and every Saturday at 8 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on HGG Radio. I am your host, Dr. Lincoln Bryan, alongside your co-host, Pastor Clive Atkinson, Bishop Hopeton Morris, and Elder Edmund Muir. The Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. We're not just talk, we're informative. Good morning, and welcome to the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. We're right here live on HGG Radio, where we are here on this podcast this morning, and of course we have another great program and another exciting one lined up for you. Of course, you know you're tuning into the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast right here live at HGG Radio, where we discuss matters that are close to the heart. We are live inside your home, inside the car, inside your studio, and we are delighted that you choose to join us this morning as we have yet another exciting episode for you this morning. I'm your host, Dr. Lincoln Bryan, along with our co-host, Pastor Clive Atkinson, Bishop Hopeton Morris, and Elder Edmund Muir. You can listen to HGG Radio via YouTube, Facebook, hggradio.ca, or by downloading our app at Higher Ground Gospel Radio via your Play Store or your App Store. You can join the conversation on our social media platform or by messaging us at WhatsApp at 825-343-7778. That's 825-343-7778 for WhatsApp. Of course, we love when you join the conversation. Good morning to all our listeners. Good morning to our co-host, and of course, we have two very special guests that will be joining the table just later on in the show. So we want to say good morning. Good morning to Elder Edmund Muir. Good morning, Pastor Clive Atkinson.
Bless you.
How are you this morning?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful, kind, highly favored, blessed, too blessed to be stressed, and all of these things are going on at the same time. God is good. Good morning, sir. We realize, sir, me are sporting new headphones. Reverend Clive, you got yours delivered? Because I didn't get mine in the mail.
I didn't get any in the mail at all.
I am wondering what's going on over there. Ella showing off nice blue, showing off to the matching his shirt and all of these things. What's happening, Elder Muir? Good morning to you.
Yes, we have to we have to check the technology out, man.
Yeah,
new era, you know. It goes with our topic. When did men, you know? So I'm trying new things.
You're trying new things. That's wonderful. I'd just love to get mine in the mail. That's all I'm saying, and I'll just leave it there. It just would be nice, you know. I'll leave it there. Lovely background, Rev. We're waiting for you to deliver my piano. I have a space for it. Just saying. Good morning, Janice Henry Morgan. Thank you so much for joining us. Johnny said, good morning, everyone. Pat Henry, the overseer. Good morning, Pat, and thank you so much for joining us. I know, of course, we have quite a number of listeners that are tuning in every Saturday morning, and Rev, let me tell you, they are so excited about the show. So much called and said, listen, we can't wait for Saturday. Some folks are telling me this has now become part of their Saturday routine. While they're cleaning, while they're doing things, they are listening to the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. Some folks said, listen, I can't even clean. I got to sit down, get my notepad, and get ready. And of course, this is what the show is all about. As we said, we're not just talk, but we're informative. We want to make sure that we are keeping you informed. I want to say good morning, and I want to encourage all our listeners this morning, chime in and let me know where you're joining us from. I want to know where our listeners are chiming in from. So would you just type in the chat, let me know, good morning, let me know where you are joining us from. We want to know. Of course, you keep us going on a Saturday morning. So absolutely, we are happy that you choose to join us yet another time. Rev, we have a great program lined up for us this morning. I just say exciting about the program. What we think about, first thing, domesticated. Men being domesticated. I mean, consider history and how it all started, you know.
Yeah.
First word, what do you think?
Oh boy. First thing, come to mind was, help, being a help to your wife, to be, you know, not having the feeling of, sometimes man will feel as if, they don't feel like they can get their hands dirty in the home, cleaning the sink, washing dishes, doing, all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about being domesticated and so forth like that. Sometimes you will feel or think that it's a lady's job, but it's a twofold thing. We as men need to be able to can help and to cook. For me, I love cooking, so that's it's a part of my genes.
Yes.
Or should I say it's a part of my corduroy?
Either one. Hi. Yes, Elder Muir. We say good morning again to. I see Jenny said we're joining you from Jamaica. Good morning to you from Jamaica. Is it? Let me see. Rough Stridim, if you are. Good morning to you from Ajax, and good morning, Mama Merlene, joining us from Oshawa. So we say good morning to our friend Khalil Decor. Good morning to my friend Pastor Overseer Carl Brown, of course, the designer there behind Halil Attitude and Pastor of Glory Carriers International Ministry. Good morning to you, my friend. It's good to see you. Shika Edwards, good morning to you as well. Join us from Belleville in Canada. I see Lady Janet Brown, First Lady of the Bethel organization in Jamaica, joining us down there. Good morning to you, Angie. It's lovely to have you on. Lady Green, Patsy Green, said, good morning, Pastor, joining us, of course, from Edmonton. We say good morning to you, all our friends. Sophie, it's good to have you on this morning, and she is joining us from Oshawa. Thank you so much. Our friends are joining us, and we're waiting for y'all. Come in the room. Let us know you're here. And we say big good morning again. Rev, Elder Muir, domesticated. First thing come to mind, and we'll talk about it. Domesticated. When we talk about men being domesticated.
Maybe I'm the wrong person to ask such a question, because with my agricultural background, we talk about domesticating animals. And so, but the first thing,
well, let me
the
put it
first
in
thing that
context in
comes
terms
to
of
mind,
men, in terms of men being domesticated in the home. Because some people scared of the word, some men just start to back down the minute they hear the term domesticated. They start to think all kind of things. So tell me, outside of your agricultural background of rearing animals, what comes to mind? Domesticated.
Amen. Let me just say good morning again to everyone, and please forgive me. I believe my computer is doing some mischievous things here. I can hear different chimings and things happening. Domestication, domesticating of men. The way it's put, really, honestly, I don't like the sound of it. It is then saying that we have domesticated women, which persons do agree with. But for me, domestication of men, I believe it's nothing different from that of a woman, really, because a man should be. Can I go into something? My mom
Real
had
quick.
4 boys before she had a girl, and all of us had to learn to cook, clean, and do everything that a woman would do. I will leave it there for now.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. That's what we're talking about.
Let me just say this one thing before you go on. One of the things that when we grew up, our mother would have instilled in us, the only thing that as a boy or as a man we couldn't do is have baby.
Yes. But everything else. Thank you, Pastor Clive. Of course, we'll be talking a lot more in the show. Trust me. This is going to be an exciting one. We have lined up for you this morning. So men are more likely than ever to embrace the idea of gender equality. But when it comes to the home front, traditional values dominate. The gist is that men too often sit back and assume their wife or girlfriend to keep track of the house for them. Men believe it's enough to wait to be told to do so. So long as they do it, they believe it's fine. Men refusing to do their share of housework is a common problem. It's even statistically quantifiable one. Studies show women still do more unpaid work, often in the form of extra housework than men. There is almost a universal support for women to pursue career and political offices, and attitudes have become far more accepting around gender equality. But when it comes to the home front, traditional values dominate. The question is, should men be domesticated? Should they help to wash, cook, clean, and manage other functions around the home? Chef Leon Rowe, executive chef of Heaven's Kitchen Catering, and Minister Lennox Brown, host rather of Transcend Talk Show, are joining us on the podcast to have this much needed discussion. Good morning to you both, and welcome to the show. And of course, big up round of applause, thanking you for joining us here on the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Leon Rowe and Minister Lennox Brown. Thank you. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Lovely morning to you and all your listeners and all your viewers, to your co-host, Pastor Atkinson and Elder Muir, as well as my fellow participant, Minister or Chef Rowe. Good morning to you guys. God bless you. So good to be on.
Good
Greetings,
morning.
good morning.
Thank you. Morning, Chef
Greetings.
Rowe.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. And
It's
Chef
a
Rowe,
wonderful thing to be in Heaven's Kitchen this morning and to
I'm
be,
telling you, it looks like heaven. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like heaven, and
praise
I'm
the
telling
Lord.
you, it looks so good. Chef, we're ready. Pastor, we have a chef this morning on Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. I told you I wasn't joking. We have a Chef Leon Rowe, who will be cooking for us this morning. Of course, he has something in the kitchen. You know, we can talk about men being domesticated and I not get a chef on. Of course, you know he is trending. He has been as seen on the breakfast club here on Toronto. Good morning, Toronto. Good morning, where he was live on the Breakfast TV, cooking and preparing for Toronto Jerk Festival. And of course, we have him live here with us on HGG Radio. Good morning again, Nadine Riley. Yes, morning from New Jersey. Chef Rose in the place. Cheryl, good morning to you as well from New Jersey. Men, while Chef Rose going to prepare something for us this morning, before he get into it, we're just going to have a quick word. Just want to ask you, when we talk about domesticated, because one of the things that is happening, and oftentimes women can attest that women have become increasingly frustrated with men not helping in the home. And we want to, of course, on this show, we want to call anybody out. We want to call you up. And so we want to empower our men to be better men in the home, better boys, better men, better individual. And of course, this is where we're preparing you. Or if you're not doing it, we're calling you up. And if you're doing it, we're telling you keep on going and make it strong right here on the Iron Man Empowerment Podcast. And so a lot of time we find women who are complaining because they're saying that women are saying that the men aren't assisting, men aren't helping in the home, and they tend to bear a lot of the weight, carry a lot of it, cooking and cleaning and managing the children and so forth, while a lot of men have the remote control in their hand, watching Super Bowl, taking on wrestling and watching football and cricket and all these things, while the women have to be doing a lot more in the home. When we talk about the word domestication or domesticated, a lot of time people run away from these words, and men somewhat shy back and say, this is a woman job and this is a man job. And so, of course, the program this morning, we want to talk about it, and we want to talk about what domestication look like and what does it mean about supporting our wives. So, good morning, Pastor Clive. I'm going to start with you. What does this look like in the home, especially when we're talking about men and men of the gospel? What are we talking about? Tell me the level of support you believe we should be offering and how important it is that we are supporting our family, our wives.
I think it is very important as men for us to support our wives in the home, especially, have children. For me, my wife can tell you I'm not a TV person, so, but I know that it can happen where persons who just feel like, the home responsibilities are solely on the wife. However, it ought not to be. She's not a maid, she's a wife. So for me, I go ahead and I do my cooking. For the last little while, I'm trying to, shed a few pounds, so I don't want to go into the kitchen, but I find myself continue always in the kitchen for some reason because my wife, her work is kind of a bit stressful, and I guess she likes my cooking. Just like on the other night, I put down some things. Dr. Lincoln, you'd have Call us.
Yes, I saw that big seafood platter that you and Elder Muir and family throw down. I'm just saying that I'm going to be in Edmonton and this summer, and I'm just waiting for my platter and all these things that I'm seeing you're doing, Pastor Clive. So I'm just, I took pictures of it. I screenshot your status just to bring to your remembrance whenever I reach in Edmonton. I'm just letting you know I have receipts. El-
Yeah,
Elder Muir, yes, sir. Go.
but it's important though for your when you can cook and your family feel good, not about just throwing some stuff together. No, we talk about proper presentation, cooking on special occasions. That's one of the area that I'm strong in.
Mhm.
But my wife, she will do everything else, and there's some things I don't expect her to do. I take out all the garbage. If of course if I'm not home, she's not going to make the garbage stay. And sometimes she reminds me because some days I get my days mixed up where the garbage day. And I try to keep all my mess in one little place because she doesn't like the house is in a mess, of course. So it is good to be able to help, to be, to clean up, to make sure that the sink stay clean, the bathroom stay clean. Because at the end of the day, if somebody walk through the door, they're not going to say, "Oh, it's Pastor Clive make a mess." They're going to look at your wife and says, "Oh, she's a dirty lady. She make the house," especially having young kids in the home. So it's important as a father, as a husband, to help our wives so that they can look good as well. So that you're not contributing, leaving I mean, I was guilty for months and for weeks. She just keep on hammering it. Put the seat down. Put the toilet seat down. So, and I know that that's every man's. They would have passed through all of that, and then afterwards, you get used to it, and then you like start to learn because you start to hear it. Then after you start to hear it in your head that put the seat down, it becomes now automatic.
That is Saturday. Rev, I have a very important question for you because, and I know a lot of listeners are listening. Bishop will be joining us shortly on the podcast, but I want to ask, Pastor, how important it is, because a lot of time when you find pastors and preachers in ministry, people in ministry, especially preachers and ministers, pastors in particular. How important it is to really support the home, because I think sometimes we use it as an excuse that we want to be pastor in the home and pastor to a sense as if we want to be served, and we translate this to the home, that the wife has to continue to do a lot in the home. There's a lot of leaders, and we're not here to call out anybody, we're here to call you up, that I find in particular don't do much when it comes to the home. And I'm wondering if we use the church as an excuse to say, I have to be at church, or I have to manage this at church, I have to do this. And so the wife have to solely take responsibility of the home. I really want to bring this to the fore. How important it is that in respect of our role, whether in leadership, preaching or teaching, that there's a level of support that is still required in the home. Talk to me, Pastor Clive, as a pastor, and you did make mention of some things that you're doing, but let us discuss this.
It is very important. When I leave outside of church forum, yes, she will still refer if we're having a meeting or so, Pastor Clive. However, I'm not Pastor Clive at home. I'm Clive. She called me Clive at home. So I don't bring home Pastor Clive at home, and I don't want her to bring. And I had the habit of calling her Sister Melody from day one, from when she was as a sister in the church going. So it's still a habit. I think maybe 1 out of 10 time I call her Melody, but she's always Sister Melody. You know what I mean? But at home, I leave pastoral outside. When we're at home, I want to be, a husband to her,
Yes.
so that I can, it's not so that, because calling me a pastor at home or whatever, that doesn't make me who I am. I want to feel normal.
Right.
And don't call me pastor. I don't want her to call me pastor when I'm in my room. I don't want her to call me, no.
Wonderful, Pastor. Thank you so much. Elder Minister Brown, I am coming to you. What does it really mean to be a husband? Because oftentimes people think husband having the ring and to say, I am in charge, I am the man. What does it truly mean? Talk to me about being a husband. What does it truly mean?
I think being a husband means that you understand that there is, for me, the traditional gender roles doesn't exist in my house. If my wife is working, I'm working, then there is no wifely duties or a husbandly duty. I believe that within the home, and particularly as an husband, it is important for your kids to see you helping your wife, taking charge, for your son, your daughter to see you cleaning the bathroom or pressing their clothes, pressing your clothes, cooking. So I believe being a husband means that you roll up your sleeve, not just on the outside, not just secularly, not just on the job, but you roll up your sleeve within your house and to help to perform all the duties that growing up we will see our mom doing. And I believe this is one of the contributing factors for older women to go through so much sickness, because they were so heavily burdened with housework.
Mm,
Because traditionally we know that the husband, he goes out, he's a hunter, so he goes
mhm.
out, he goes to provide, to work, and the wife stays home. And I think their duties, their roles is predominantly downplayed. It's not so much important as the man who goes out and hunt the bread. So because it's downplayed, not a lot of attention or importance is placed on it. So you find that the woman work herself to death.
Yes.
Because I can say this, housework is not easy. Anybody
Mhm.
think that housework is easy? It's not easy. So I think being a husband, it is about understanding that there is no gender role in the house. There's no duties that are specifically geared towards gender, but it is about working with your wife. She's your partner. Working
Yes.
with your wife to get things done for the advancement of the family.
Thank you so much. That is so well said. That is so well said. Wonderful, wonderful. Um, before I come over to Chef Rowe, and I'm coming to you, Elder Muir, because a lot of times when when it comes to the marriage and the family and the husband in the home, that husbands, you have some husbands that I've seen that even his wife will cook and he will come home from work and the food is there, but he's saying I am home, and I refuse to share that dinner, whether or not she's just tired of running the house the entire day and just said, honey, the food is there on the stove, it is warm, can you share it? And I've seen in home where the woman still have to get up and do it. I'm not saying nothing is wrong if she shares it, but I'm not sure how much that demand that we place on her to even share the food. And ladies, chime in the chat, and if I'm not talking the truth, Elder Muir, how important it is to offer that level of support to her wife and children in the home, being husbands and working in the family. One person, one of our listeners, Monique, said, especially when the husband should know how to hold things down 100%, even when the woman, maybe her body or she's sick, and that you understand how to do everything and holding it down. How important is that? Because there are some men who said, I am not cleaning any bathroom. I will sweep, I will mop, but I'm not cleaning no toilet. I'm not washing no dishes because this is a woman job. Talk to me, Elder Muir. Should there be then a difference with jobs, gender role within the home?
Thank you very much, Dr. Bryan. Matthew 19 and verse 4 to 5, it says, for this reason a man should leave his father's house and cleave to his wife, and the two should become one. Now, my understanding of a relationship, a marriage, is that the husband should love the wife and the wife should reverence the husband, because they're both one. And if it is that I'm loving myself I should be able to love my wife in the same manner because the two became one. And if I'm not doing that, then something is wrong. If I see that there are things that needs to be done and I'm not doing it, it means that I'm not fulfilling the role that I should. I know that many families have what we call family dynamics. The dynamics of your family might be different from the dynamics of my family. But the truth is, there is no role that is specific to a man or to a woman. And if you notice now, even in the modernized society, we have men staying home and women working because they are better positioned in terms of education or opportunity. And so, therefore, they go out and they work while some men will stay at home. I've heard men laughing at them, I've heard men saying all types of things. But what works in your family might not work in mine. So we're talking about family dynamics. And there are things that I would do in my house that my wife will not do. There are things that I notice that she always wants to do that sometimes I'll just leave it alone. But I'm not afraid of cooking. If the food is there, I will definitely go out and share it. And I believe sometimes too, it is where the man or the woman is coming from. In other words, I often use the word nest, the nest that they're coming from, what they have been taught by their parents, what they have seen working in their parents' relationship. So they believe that the same thing should apply in their relationship, but it ought not to be so. And therefore, what I'm saying here is that a man should basically be there as a foundation in the family and help the woman, and the woman should also be there to help the man. In other words, both parties support each other. So your strength becomes um, eh, what is used to pull the other person's weakness, right? And so,
That's right.
so the dynamics of the family should go.
So family dynamics is very important. So we have to come then to the table to see what work for our union, what work, because there's not a where my understanding is that there's not um a one fix, a one thing just said this is how it is and this is how it should be. But each person's have to work out different dynamics. We come together, we have discussions as to how we can move the thing forward and how we can continue to support one another, is what I gather from you, Elder Muir. Family dynamics then is very important and play a very
That's right.
important
That's
role
right.
in each relationship. And so, and conversations too, open, honest conversation and communication to say, this is how I need you to support me. Because one other thing that I find is that women will say, you're not helping me here, but I also want to help my the women that are on the line, to say that men are trainable, and you have to train men. I'm telling you, it may sound crazy. You have to train men how to treat you. Men are trainable. There are some things that you must say, this is what we will do, this is what we'll not do. Because again, as Elamir said, it depends on the nest that they're coming from. Because some men come and this is how they see their father behave. They don't know much better. This is how they think it should be. And so sometimes it takes a woman to train a man. And woman, your man should be trainable. He's trainable. You ask what you want. There are some men who don't function just like us. We may see it and know that we need it to be done. Some persons, you have to give them direct request. This is what I want to get done. This is what I want to get done at this particular time. Good morning again. Jedi said, agree. Family dynamics is important. Reverend Brown said, some men may need to unlearn some things based on how we were cultured, and that is very important. And again, it go back to the nest that we we grew up in, and it's so cultured into, I am the man, this is what I do, I work and I come home and I'm not responsible for anything else. But we're talking about support. Before I get to Pastor, good morning, Bishop. Thank you again for joining us. Before we get to Bishop, Chef Ro, we are coming to you. Talk to us. So Chef Ro is cooking in the kitchen, and Chef is telling us about the importance of simple skills. Chef, talk to me. Simple importance of men cooking, learning to cook. Give me some talk to me about the importance, and tell us about some simple things that maybe men can do from your angle. We're not all certified, we're not in the exec level like you, but talk to us what we can do.
So greetings, everyone. Greetings to our viewers this morning. Thank you, Dr. Bryan, for this opportunity and the rest of the auxiliary with you this morning. So being domesticated in the home is very, very important. Growing up in Jamaica, born and raised in Jamaica with my grandparents, has taught me how to be domesticated. For example, when my grandmother used to go to the markets, I used to be one of the person who went to the farm to gather the foods, whether it was yam, banana, or breadfruit, whatever it may be that you would bring to the markets to sell to make an income. So that was the woman doing that. But me, as a young boy, my grandfather used to be the one to go into the farm and to plant all these things and to make sure it bring forth a good crop. So you'll be looking at it and say, well, it's the man that's supposed to go to work, but the roles are switched there. The woman is going out to sell, but the man is at home tilling the ground so that she can go to sell. So it's not gender-based. Everybody have to understand what their dynamic is and pull that. And growing up, I see my grandmother cooking, and that's where I developed the passion for cooking. Seeing her in the kitchen making drops and rice and peas and all these things. And, growing up with that type of a passion, it taught me how to be hospitable. I love to serve, you know what I mean? So being domesticated in the home now, in this time, is very important. You don't want your wife or your to be overburdened with doing cooking and cleaning the toilets, and because being domesticated it's not just about the food, but today we're talking about the food. It does help for men to be able to cook, and we do offer cooking lessons as well. Evan's Kitchen offer that. So men must be able to cook and to feed their families. You can't expect both of you guys to go out to work and then she come home and she have to put the pot on fire and you come home first with your foot up because you're tired. It's not like that. So we have to share the load. You know what I mean? So there's a few simple things that you can make. So this morning we're doing ackee and saltfish, and we have some diced onions right here. Putting that in our pot. So dice up your onions. I'm just showing you just a few little simple things. We have diced bell peppers. All right, we get that in our pot. And listen, man, cooking is very simple. You're just putting stuff together.
So Chef Ro, so are you saying that even though you run a busy business and massive caterings and all these things, you're telling me that outside of cooking you're still able to support the wife in the home, still able to take the kids and look after them, do other stuff in the home?
100%. Cleaning the toilet, whatever it is. It's my responsibility. Take my sons to the barber shop. My wife come home to a clean house.
Yes.
When she's not here, the house is clean, the toilet clean, the kitchen, there's no dishes in the sink before I go to. We don't sleep with dirty dishes in the sink. That's one thing we don't do. You know what I mean? So I don't wait on her to do that. I do that. I wash down the place, bleach it down, sanitize it. Because guess what? At the end of the day, your environment reflects you.
Yes.
So yes, your question, it's not just about cooking, but in other areas as well.
Thank you, Chef Ro.
We have some sauteed onions and peppers there, and we're gonna add some garlic.
So while Chef Ro is fixing us up breakfast this morning, so ackee and saltfish is on the table, and do I see some golden fried dumpling there going on?
So these are some festival made from scratch.
Some festival there.
I feel hungry.
Yes, Chef Ro, we're going to send you our address because we're waiting on our breakfast getting together. So Chef Ro is cooking us ackee and saltfish this morning. Yes, and dumplings. What you showing us there, Chef?
So this is the dough that I made.
Right.
Leave it for a couple hours to let it rise. So it's a festival this morning, not a fried dumpling.
So festival. Wonderful.
And we have the recipes. If you do want the recipes, we have the recipe. You can check us out at www.hkkatering.ca, and you can reach out to us at 416-558-4065. We can provide the recipe for everything and anything that you want to cook. For all the men out there, if you want to learn to cook, we give cooking lessons. We also give online lessons as well. So reach out to us and we can explore.
Men, you have no excuse. So while Chef Ro is cooking to us, Bishop, we are coming to you. Again, we're talking about, if you're just joining us live on HGG Radio, we're talking about the importance of men being domesticated. And so this morning, we, of course, are talking with our co-host, and we have two special guests, Minister Lennox Brown and Chef Leon Rowe, who's cooking with us this morning on HGG Radio. Again, we want to talk about the importance, how important it is. We have some viewers that are chiming in before I come to Bishop, and so we want to thank those who are joining us this morning. And some are talking about the support from men in the home. One person said it's important to consider. Good morning to you, Miss Davia. Keela McIntosh said, Chef Leon food is amazing. Just by looking at it, I can tell you I've had his food. Amazing food. Davia, good morning to you, Davia Gray. She said it's important to consider the strength of each spouse in determining how husbands and wife will serve in the home. Very important. I love the head together. So it's very important. And we talk about family dynamics. Bishop, talk to us about that. And of course, from experience, and that is why I think sometimes, coming into a relationship, it is very important to have premarital counseling. Bishop, in your experience, is this something that you believe, or is it something that is included in premarital counseling, or something we believe that we should, an avenue we think we should explore coming into the relationship? Bishop Morris.
Okay, thank you very much, and greetings, ministers, brothers. God bless you all. To all the listeners, God bless you. Just remember to share this program. Somebody might just be helped by this program today, or somebody will be helped by this program today. Yes, sir. Concerning your question, that is very important. In premarital counseling, it's very important to have this discussion, to find out, as somebody said earlier, the strength or weakness of your partner, because there are some women who can cook. There are some men who can, there are some who can, there are some who can. And so therefore, so that you don't, you go inside there knowing exactly what your partner can do and cannot do. Okay. Right. So yes, it's interesting and very important that we discuss that in premarital counseling. Also, when I was growing up, one of the things, my mother was, let me go in the kitchen to cook Sunday dinner, because in those times, whenever I used to go to church, but growing up in the ghetto, and she would buy the chicken and show me how to do it, and show my brother how to do it. And I asked her, I'm going to get married. Why do I need to do all of these stuff? And she would say to me that, so that when you grow up, woman don't take disadvantage of you. Right? That's one of the things that she said. And I've grown up now, and can do all of these things by myself. She sent you, but then we didn't have these floors that we have now, so back then we have to go on our knees with some cloth, and we have to get the coconut brush and shine the floor and so on, and you have to make sure you clean it in such a way so that the only way they know it's clean is when they can see their face in it. And if they can't see their face in it, that means it's not done properly, and you have to go and do it again, or else no supper. And you cannot go up your marble or anything like that, right? So those were some of the bribe that they used to to make sure that we can do stuff. And then when I become an adult, not even an adult, but even my teenager age, she said, I ain't washing no more jeans for you guys, right? And so she put the, we have to go and wash our pants, our clothes, ourselves, hang them out on the line. Then she will go and inspect them to make sure that everything is clean and so on. White used to be white, is not like white, where I see some people wearing white and it look like red. And today we have to know how to spread them on zinc with chloride or bleach and all these kind of stuff, so they come real when I say white, I mean white, right? So I give God thanks for the training, and I will encourage mothers on here to train their boys. Sometimes they train the girls, but train the boys, right? One of the things also I found out is that women find it sexy when a man do housework.
All right now, Bishop.
right? So right, woman love that thing. I say, Pastor Clive,
What you mean?
and
What you mean, though, Bishop?
Go deeper, go deeper, Bishop. Go deeper.
Deeper, Bishop.
right, yeah. So woman find it sexy when a man
We
do
need
it.
the ladies to chime in.
Ladies,
They love you
tell us.
more, they desire you more. I mean, you know, when they see you're doing the dishes, when they see you cleaning, when they come home to a clean house, you know, I share something with you. I know it will put a smile on some of your face. Don't tell my wife I say this though. This is between us. You know, I remember when I have my first child and so on, it was so much work on her. And you know, when you want something, and she said, "Man, if you help me out in the house, you know, your bedroom will be, you'll be happy in the bedroom." Man, I clean, I wash, I do bathroom, I do toilet, I cook, I do every single thing, right? Because right, because they are tired too, right?
Yes.
And you know, just like us, they get tired, right? Just like us, and so therefore, they need our help in the house. Because when you get married, brothers, when you get married, you never, I've done quite a few weddings, and I've never said in the vow that, okay, brother so and so, do you take this woman to be your lawful wedding wife, to wash your clothes, to cook your food, I mean, to clean your bathroom, to clean your, no, I never said that. Okay, so that is not a part of the vow that a woman takes. Okay,
Yes.
right? You supposed to take care of her. She's supposed to take care of you. And I've learned something on this show sometimes is that if you can't do it, the wife is expecting you to get certain things done. So
Yes.
if you can afford somebody to come in every now and then and do a good cleaning, pay them to do it. Your wife will be happy and thankful for you so that she can get some good rest. I rest my case there, sir.
Powerful, Bishop. What can we say? Bishop, the ladies are chiming in. They're saying yes. I'm telling you, they are chiming in, Bishop. They're saying yes, it's true, Bishop. It is so sexy. The lady said that's a fact. Lady David Scott said I agreed, Bishop. Marsha Ben said it is true. We have more energy to be present as a wife, and husbands don't know what that means. Wink, wink, wink. You know that she's more present. Blessings, son. I grow some boys in the days, and they have to cook. They have to clean, wash, and I always tell them they need to know how to do it. That the women don't take them for idiot. Good morning to you. There in Valerie, Henry. Good morning to you, Mama Sandra. There in Jamaica. One person says, "So true, Bishop. So true." It is so true. Very powerful, Bishop. That women, and these are the takeaway. Women need to train the boys. And as Valerie said, I have some sons. She said she grow the boys and they have to cook, wash, clean, everything. Because I believe when we, as it's important for mothers to train their sons how to become husbands, fathers, and of course to really take charge and responsibility of the home. So taking responsibility and charge does not mean, oh, I'm the man and push your chest up, but it means supporting the family holistically. Bishop said, I've never said if you take the wife to cook and clean and to wash, but to love, honor, support, respect, and of course treat each other lovely. So, and one other thing is, Minister Brown, is that I find that, with men, and as Bishop touched it, is that when you don't do anything in the home, you don't do anything, and the wife work and work and work, and especially because they remember now, there is a shift in dynamics, because back then most men would work and the woman would stay home and take care of the family. In this generation that we're living in, where women are of course equally qualified and women are educated and they have their own goals and own aspiration and their own careers, they are working and they're equal contributor to the home. Whether or not you make $10 more than her, they're equal contributor to the home. And so similarly, since they're equal contributors to the home, I believe also that we are supposed to be supporting them equally in the home, because they're working just as we are working. And when the woman has to do it by herself and then she is tired, then you want something. You want it. Can we just put it out? You come home and you want some loving, you want some sex. She is already tired. And then she said, no, she's not in the mood and you're upset. No, one other thing is she's not only tired, she's tired and she's pissed. She's upset. She's upset because she has to work by herself. You relax, and then here it is that you're ready and you want something. She's totally not in the mood. Because even before we get even into this aspect, that once women are seeing you do something, as Bishop said, it is sexy to a woman. Talk to us, Minister, about striking that balance. Minister Brown, about striking that balance in the home, especially when you have your wife who work outside of the home. How we strike that balance?
One main point that I would like to piggyback on that Bishop mentioned, I can't stress enough, mothers, your job is critical, because I can remember going into marriage, I'm pretty much old fashioned in my thoughts and in my approach to marriage when I just got married. But luckily for me, my mom taught me to cook, clean, wash, you name it, the cow foot, the oxtail, the rice and peas, you name it, I can cook it. As a matter of fact, I started my dinner for today, which is my pea soup. It's on the stove waiting for me to come and finish it. So I grew up with a mother that taught me how to do everything. And one of the things that my mother would always say to me, because my dad was, I have a great father, but he was a workaholic. I mean, he was like 4 o'clock, he's through the door, and he doesn't get back home until like midnight. So I hardly see my father. He's always working. When you talk about a provider for his family, that's my father. But my father absolutely was missing in action in the house. Because of that, all the burden fell on my mother. My mother had to get us ready for school, cook breakfast, cook dinner, and plus she was still doing her little side hustle, or little side gig in sewing and stuff. So she was still providing for the household whilst taking care of all the domestic work of the household. And I remember when I was getting married, my mom said to me, Lennox, listen to me, my son. If you want your marriage to last, help your wife to help you. She said to me, help your wife to help you. Jump around, do what you have to do. Work within the house just as hard as you work outside. Never let your wife feel overburden and all of that. Help your wife to help you. And that stuck with me. And to be honest with you, coincidentally, how God would have it, when I got married, real quick, my wife was always the driven one as it relates to career and her studies. My wife accomplished it academically early out. So my wife wasn't really domesticated, and I was the domesticated one. So going into marriage, I just couldn't comprehend how is it that I can cook or I can prepare this meal and my wife can't do it. But because I had a mother that taught me how to approach it, to cook and how to clean and all of that. I hear Bishop said that, mom, it was something that my mom said, like, Lennox, learn how to do this. When I'm making up my face on her, mommy, I want to go play football. My friends, they're playing football. Why I have to cook? What? And my mom say, I would learn this so that no woman can take advantage of you. No, I have an amazing wife, but she wasn't so domesticated, and I went into the marriage, can cook, and I couldn't comprehend it. And because of that, I felt like it had to be gender role. If me can cook, why you can't cook? How is it that I'm a man and I can cook and you cannot do this? And because of that, it caused tension in the household. Where the first 2 years of my marriage, I tell people that I can't get divorced again. Because if my marriage survived the first 2 years, it can't go under again. Because that first 2 years, I had to take the time to be patient, as she learned this, as she learned that, and all of that. So I say that to say, mothers, your jobs, you don't, it's critical. And as well as men, when you approach marriage, understanding is important. If you go into marriage and she's the more domesticated one, you pick up the slack where you can. And if you are the one that is more domesticated, you pick up, you work with your wife, be patient with her, and try to be. Today, my wife can cook basically everything. When we got married, it wasn't so. I was the one that have to show her this, show her that. But today, I'm excited when I call her and say, "Oh, babe, what you cook? I'm coming home now." And she says she could. I'm excited because she can help herself. No, she can do her thing. No, you have to be patient in more ways than one. And if she's the one that is more domesticated, bro, pick up the slack. Help your wife. Help her to help you. Don't be a lazy man. Only thing you want to do is just watch football or watch sports network. Help your wife. Be understanding.
Thank you, Minister Lennox. So I gather from you, he's saying that sometime it changed based again, as Ella Muir said, based on the nest. Because again, when you and just to add what Minister Brown is saying, when your wife comes from a home where the dynamics is different, because maybe her parents may be a stay-at-home mom that takes care of the house, and these older ladies believe in them cooking for their husband and they serving their husband. So sometimes when it's like that, and even your wife coming up, there are times when your wife isn't the one really in the kitchen, because my mother, very funny and particular, she may ask you to cut some cabbage, but that's where it is, and cut this for me and 2 sweet pepper, but she want to cook. These older ladies, they want to prepare for their husband. So sometime in doing that, you find that when you're married to somebody who have older parents, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes you find that they didn't do a lot at home that generally you would thought they would, because mommy, want to take care of that and all of that. So, again, as Minister Brown said, it's very important to understand that dynamics, and we find a balance, and we work with it's a team, we support each other. So where you're strong here, I support you there, and then of course where you're weaker, we support. One thing I want to mention before we check in with Chef and see how Chef is doing with our breakfast over there is somebody mentioned, Pastor Clive, and one lady said, while my husband can cook and stuff, I find he really doesn't really clean much, doesn't do much in the home in terms of cleaning and so forth. And so then one of the challenges now become when you have sons in the home and you're trying to teach that son how to do it, but then that son don't see daddy doing it, how difficult then it becomes for the mother, for the wife, because now I'm trying to train a son to do it differently, because here it is, daddy cook, but I'm struggling with him where it comes to helping me in the home. Now I have a son that I'm trying to show how to do it in the home, but hey, daddy don't do it, then why do I need to do it? Pastor Clive, how we balance this, and how do we work out that dynamics, because there's going to pose a little bit of challenge there. Help the men to kind of help it better, because remember, we're the generational shift, and if they're seeing that, then it means that it's going to be passed on for quite a while. How can you help a mother with this struggle here? And then we'll go to Chef.
It's just the simple fact that you just have to get up and just do it. You just have to get up. You have to show your children that you as a man, this is what, as a man, what you need to do as a father in the home. My son, oftentimes I'll be doing something, and I will pull him away from the TV and say, "Come on, help me do this." Even though I don't want him to burn himself, but I'm there telling him, say, "Hey, store this for me, do this for me." What I'm really doing, he's only 6 years old. I'm just trying to get his mindset to say, "Hey, we're doing this for mommy and for the family." When I'm cooking something the other day, and he came and we were praying, and after we finished cook on Valentine's Day, he was praying, and he said, "Thank God for the love, thank God for love," or something to do with love, and so forth. So is what they're seeing, that the Bible said, train up a child in the way that they should go, that when they're old they not depart from it. So is what he sees in the home, is what your children see. They don't see mommy as a slave, and then now they will know, if you don't be careful, start to throw down their things. And I'm a little bit guilty for that, because of oftentimes, you come home and, but I try to keep my garbage to myself in my little corner. But at the same time, we have to train them up so that they do not come and do the same thing, throw down their clothes. My wife and I, oh my goodness, my shoes is a problem, because all my shoes at the door. and it's always this back and forth. So it's just to be able to help. It's all I'm hearing is, how can I help my wife being at home so that things worked, so that you don't make her overworked and feel as if she is not a part of what you're doing, or just being overburdened. So I would want to encourage every man, every husband to just be there. Make your presence be seen in the home. Let your let your children grow up seeing that I've seen daddy doing this. I've seen mommy and daddy working together. You're mute. You're mute. Doc, you're mute. You're mute.
Good morning. Thank you so much for that, Pastor. Chef, we are checking in back with you. Talk to us, Chef. How are you doing over there in the kitchen?
We're doing wonderful over here. Very great conversation. I'm listening. I'm taking points. As domesticated as I am, there's some things that I can still take away. And you men are amazing. And I'm enjoying the conversation, and I'm doing a lot of takeaways. So the ackee is finished. That's our ackee and saltfish right there. How does it look?
Oh my God!
Oh, this is beautiful, Chef. We only have one complaint so far. Some person, my aunt, said I am on fasting today, and so she says, "Chef, please don't show us any more of that breakfast." So only one complaint so far.
Just one more. Two more.
Oh, this is looking lovely.
We also, as being domesticated, we show men how to plate the breakfast.
Wow. Nice.
So Chef, give us simple tips. Tell us what you have on that plate, what you have going on there.
In the middle, we have the ackee and the saltfish.
Yes.
Right here. And then we have the festival. We cut the festival in half and put it around the plate. Then I drizzled it with a balsamic glaze. Then I have some jerk aioli on the side with some fresh fruits and arugula.
Jerka what? Wow. Jerk
aioli.
Aioli. Talk to us. What is this?
Just by hearing him, it sounds delicious. You don't even have to see it.
You don't have to know what it is.
Domesticated is also presenting it well. It doesn't look like you just throw something together.
Right.
So here at Eben's Kitchen, we teach you how to do all of that. So I know I'm promoting the business, but I'm also promoting domesticated. So reach out to your boy.
so Chef, talk to me. Give me a quick, simple tip. In quick, how for men who said, I like to eat ackee and saltfish, never do it before, but I'd love to surprise my wife in putting this together. Talk to a man real quick that don't do it.
So real quick, you need some boneless saltfish. Without the bone, you're gonna cook your saltfish 3 times, pour the water off, and you need to 1 tin of ackee. I know we're not in Jamaica. We just go in the backyard and pick it. But
so for those in Jamaica, we get some ackee. And if you're outside of Jamaica and don't have the ackee, you can use a tin.
That's right. And to 1 tin of ackee, you're gonna need about I would say about 5 to 6 ounces of saltfish. And then you're gonna need half of an onion dice. You're gonna need about a quarter of a Scotch bonnet pepper and bell peppers. It's at your discretion as well. Right, so there's no formula to it. So what you do, you boil the saltfish 3 times, pour the water off the ackee, boil up your hot water in a pot, put the ackee in there, and in Jamaica we call it scald. But what you're really doing, the ackee sometimes, because it's been in the can, it's not properly cooked. So we want to make sure it's cooked and you clean. It's in the can, so you want to get all that stuff off, all the preservatives and stuff like that. So,
but for those who are in Jamaica we get our ackee from Jamaica and we freeze it, so we need to boil that ackee there.
So you need to boil the ackee to cook it, because it's poisonous and can cause harm if you don't prepare it properly. So you need to boil it and make sure it's cooked. You don't want to cook it too much. You want to cook it for about give it at about a good 10 to 15 minutes of boiling.
Right.
Put the ackee in when the water is at a rolling boil. And you want to set that aside, drain it. So you get a pan like this or a Dutch pot. Mostly, I think everybody have a Dutch pot. Get a Dutch pot or a frying pan. And what you do, you're going to add about 4 ounces of cooking oil to that. Then you add the saute, add the vegetables, the bell peppers and the onions. So as I showed you earlier, saute that. Add your garlic and some Scotch bonnet. What you're gonna
Like
do
a
now is
medium heat,
add
then
the
you're saying,
sausage
chef,
to
a
that.
medium heat, because we don't want to burn it up, you know. So
So
what
your
kind of heat
temperature
we're
is
looking?
what you can do. You can start your process off on high heat, and once you add your vegetables and stuff like that, you turn it down to a medium heat. So once you turn it down and your vegetable is sauteed, put it on medium heat. Now that the saltfish is already in, you add your black pepper. And one of the things that I realize some people do, when you're done cook your ackee, it look like scrambled egg. This is not, you can see it. Look, the actual ackee pad is right there. You can see it and it's cooked. So what you want to do is shift the sauteed vegetables aside and put the ackee right here. Right here. Put the ackee there. And what you do, you use your spoon and gently turn it over. Gently turn over your sauteed veg into the ackee. And add your black pepper. Let that simmer. As I said, because of time, we do have a
Yes.
recipe for the festival. So if you do want to know how to do it and you want to know more how to cook, reach out to us and we can definitely engage you and show you how you can prepare and we're not only Caribbeanized, we're well versed. I mean, I thank the Lord. I was schooled at Humber College in the West End, and I've learned so much. And this is why we're running a business by God's grace. So we're not just Caribbeanized. We are versatile, and we can do different cuisines. And you can wow your wife, wow your children. And I mean, some wives are listening, and some women who are listening are not domesticated. You're a part of this as well. You can wow your to-be husbands. You can wow your husband. So men and women, you're welcome to reach out to us, and we're happy to share.
Thank you so much, Chef Ro. Thank you so much. So this ackee and saltfish looks so good, and he's saying it's very simple. Heaven's Kitchen. You can check him out. Of course, Chef Ro is sticking around with us as we continue in this chat to talk about the importance of men being domesticated. Elder Richards Campbell, good morning to you. He said, blessings. I'm a full-time itinerant minister and a stay-at-home father. I thank God for my parents' upbringing. They taught me how to wash, cook, and clean. And so Elder Richards is telling us about the dynamics in his home as a full-time minister, having to travel and having to preach, stay at home when he's off the road, and he takes care of the home while I guess his wife is out working. Thank you so much, Elder Campbell, for sharing that dynamics. Somebody said, wow, wonderful insight, love the patience. But Lady Davia Scott said something that I love, and she talked about modeling the behavior. And this is during the discussion we're talking about the importance of how men really do it and then allow your children to lead. And so it's important for our men that if we are trying to get our children to do it, then we need to do it and allow them to, of course, see that. And so that is what modeling behavior modeling looks like. And so again, we're talking about Karine Rowe. I guess this is Chef Rowe wife now said, great conversation, everyone. Dynamics will vary, but as long as it works for both individual, that's what matter. The dynamics changes at different season of the relationship as well. And that is important because there are some times when maybe the job function change. One person is working, one person is not. And so, of course, the dynamic shift to accommodate each person. Good morning, Evangelist Laverne Rowe. And she said, I think if mothers and fathers teach our children life skills, then we wouldn't be focused on which parent teaches the male child, but then the child would have a balance in every area. And of course, this is where we're leaning with our conversation. It's about the dynamics of family and about both family, both men and women, parents in the home that, of course, will teach your children and modeling the behavior. So, of course, it's not much about saying, the mother to do it or the father to do it per se, but we're saying the importance of moms in the home rearing. We know the natural nurture now of what mothers is, especially to son, so we want to, that's why we were really saying mothers, enforce this in the home because, again, as we said, women are, when it comes to the home, women in truth, and we can't go around it. Women mostly lead in the home and mostly do most in the home most time. And I'm not saying it work for all relationships, but in most cases. And so mom will most be around the stove doing things. And so we're saying that when we're doing it, both male and female, invite the children in so that they are able to they are able to also take part in that. So we'll leave this there. A lot of folks are chiming in. Thank you for chiming in. One person says, Chef, this looks delicious, but I don't eat ackee. However, please send me some festival. That's Pat Henry, the Overcomer. Thank you so much, Pat, for your comment. If you're just joining us on HGG Radio, we're talking about the importance of men being domesticated in the home. And of course, we have Chef Leon Rowe cooking with us, our special guest, as well as Minister Lennox Brown. The time here on HGG Radio is 11:05 a.m. in Eastern Standard Time and 9:05 in Mountain Standard Time. So thanks again. One person said that they have a all-around husband, one per all-inclusive husband. Somebody said, Lady Davis said, big up QC and your bad curry shrimp. Of course, she's shouting out her husband, Minister Preacher QC Gray. And I like this when women can talk about their husband. See, my wife jumped on the chat to come through. My wife jumped on and she said, thank God for my husband. That is me, no, me, shut up, me. And said he was very domesticated and work around the house in every aspect, jack of all trade, and Jamaican man would say manayard. That I mean real manayard. Thank you so much to my darling wife who's chiming in on the chat. Bishop, I'm coming to you, and we're talking about of course, we're staying on the topic about domesticated and so forth. How important it is for men, and we want to, because this is about empowering our men, about men leading the charge. How important it is leading the charge holistically in the home, from a spiritual aspect, from in the home being domesticated, from with taking care of the children. How important it is for our men, because one person mentioned about with the father and the man seeing it as a challenge now she will have with the son as a result of he's not seeing that. How important it is. Talk to us about the importance. So let us empower our men. How important is it?
Thank you for your question. Just before I answer that question, I just want to say something I think that's very important, is that for you wives, you got to know to talk to your husband, right? You got to know to talk to a man. In fact, you never talk to a man, you talk to his ego, right? If you talk to his ego, you can get him to do almost anything. So sometimes the man might not do it the way how you want him to do it or how you think he should do it, right? So instead of getting upset with him, you said, honey, oh boy, man, I really appreciate, you in the kitchen and what you have done, but we don't have a dishwasher, but so the next time you're going to wash the dishes, man, just soak it a little bit now, so the hard food come off it, right? Instead of getting upset with him, he's doing his best, or you buy him a Scotch Brite or something and you show him how to do it, right? And you make him a promise. When you talk to him like that, he will do the dishes every single night, right? But if you quarrel with him and he's going to be like, you know what? I ain't doing this again, right? So, but if you talk to his ego and said, man, there's no man like you, man. You're good at what you're doing. I really appreciate you for helping me in the kitchen, man. You're really an example to your son if you have kids or your daughter and so on. I really appreciate this. He will do it, right? And he will continue to do it. Just show him how to do it. As Dr. Lincoln said, every man is trainable, right? And also every woman is trainable also. It takes years to train a woman, right? To get her exactly the way you want her to be, right? And it takes years to train a man, right? So therefore, train them well, right? So that you know exactly what you are getting. And yes, it is important that you lead from the front, okay? Because your children remember what they see more than what they hear, okay? Right? And so it's important that they see you doing stuff, right? I heard somebody said, I think it was Pastor Clive that said, or somebody else, that's Pastor Clive, I think, yes, he called his son sometime and said, okay, come help me do this. Help me. You don't have to tell them to do it. Just ask them to come and help you do it. And they will learn how to do it. So lead from the forefront. You know, sometimes I'm buying stuff for my wife, and I will bring my daughter anytime. So what do you think about this? And sometimes we're showing something and say, the time you're ready to get married, make sure you find somebody who loves you like, oh, I love my wife, and treat her, and we're willing to treat you like how you see I treat her, right? Because they have never seen us quarrel, they have never seen us fight or anything like that, right? So lead from the front, right? Because what you show them, right, is their definition of a relationship, is their definition of a man, is their definition of a woman, is their definition of how a man should treat his wife. So it's very important, and they are looking. You might think they are not looking. They are looking, and they are seeing, and they are learning, right? And so therefore, when they grow up and somebody said, boy, you're just like your papa, right? We want that to be in a good sense and not a bad sense, right? So what you show them, that's what they will gravitate to, that's what they will learn, that's what they will practice, right? So make sure you show them very well, right? If mama in the kitchen, you go into the bedroom and you clean it up and dust it up and so on, right? I tell you, and then both of you meet in the middle, right? It helps in the relationship. It bring down the pressure of the wife, it let you feel good, let you feel wonderful. It's some nice gospel music playing in the background, or if you want something more, you play some Kenny G, right? And you make it nice, right? Right. And believe me, you will enjoy. You enjoy your marriage like that. You enjoy housework like that, right? So that's my take on that, sir. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Bishop. That is very important. Anyone want to chime in on that? Bishop is saying that is so important that we are teaching our girls what to expect and how you want a man to treat you. So this is the example of what a husband look like, what a husband does. And also we're teaching the boys how to treat their wife. Anyone that joining LME or chiming on this? The importance of modeling that behavior and showing forth what it should be.
Thank you very much. I wanted to chime in before on that, so I'm very I'm thankful for the opportunity too, because I'm a girl's daddy. I have girls in my home, and there are some things that I do and some things I don't.
How many girls?
I have 4 girls. One is my wife. Wonderful. Wonderful. So I do some things and some things I don't, because of what I would expect them to learn from seeing the relationship that we share. And what I realized with my wife, oh, she's there. Good morning, everyone. Wonderful program. She's online. Is that there are some things that I want to put into our girls, and she wants to do it as well. And sometimes I try to use what we call reverse psychology. I will see something and I'll leave it and I'll say, babes, get the girls, because in me training them, I don't want them to go out into this world and are unable to do some basic stuff. As your mother would have said to you, I think, was it you, Bishop? I think it was you. No, woman Africa abuse you. Right? So it is. So it is that I expect that my girls, as they grow, they should be able to do everything, and so they will fit into the relationship. In case they have a man which is not so domesticated, or a man that is not domesticated, whatever they fall into, they will be able to survive, because it's very important. I do agree. We have to model in the home what we expect to be done. If you don't do that, well, your child will grow up with a certain mindset. And of course, that will cause that child to be a problem in his or her relationship. So that is very important. Thank you much.
Thank you so much. Minister Brown, I'm coming to you with a question. And the question is there an unspoken hierarchy of chores in the household? So is there an unspoken hierarchy of chores in the household where you'll say, I would like to vacuum the place instead of folding clothes. So, I'm leaving, like I'm not saying it, but then is there an hierarchy where we believe a woman is going to do this, are supposed to do this, versus I am not going to do this, without, really saying that you're not going to do it? Do you think?
I think for me, going into marriage, that was the case until I had to unlearn all of what I had in my head. But no. I think how, for myself and my wife, how we function is whatever we like to do. Like for me, I love going to supermarket. I love going grocery. She doesn't do it. I love going to grocery. So I will do that. She will, enjoy pressing or doing something else. So she will take care of that part. So we mostly do our chores by virtue of what we love. For me, I'm the kitchen type. Like when I'm in the kitchen, that's my domain. Don't come in there. That's, I get territorial when it comes to my kitchen. So I don't think there is, an hierarchical system where, she does this and I do that, and that is geared specifically for her, and this is geared specifically for me. She likes pressing, so she takes care of all the pressing. I like going to supermarket and cooking, so I'll take care of that. She likes cleaning, so she'll clean the living room, clean the entire house. For me, I hate spreading bed. So I'll get up out of the bed and leave it. I hate spreading. I can do it, but she likes it. So that's all pretty much whatever works for you and your family, fine. But I don't think there should be a system where this is for you and you must do this because this is for me and I will do this. If you approach it that way, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Thank you so much. So communication there is key, just to ensure that both party or both person in the relationship are comfortable with this. Chef Ro, I am coming to you. Is there a more desirable role than for men? Or I wonder if there's a male aligned chores, like say washing the car end up being more desirable. So because I like washing the car, I'll just wash a car, that's more desirable. Is there then a more male aligned role? Like I just don't think I let my wife wash the car. Is there more a male aligned, cut the lawn? Is there more a male aligned role in certain aspect, you'll say?
For me, I personally, we're men and we have egos, right? And there's things about men, we're very masculine and we're strong and we're lions and we roar. So for me to be a man and be at home and my wife is outside pushing a lawnmower, I'm offended.
Yeah.
I want to go there and say, girl, get in the house. That's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Because that's what I hear what my minister is saying, but that it's not you do this or you do that. But there's some things I don't believe, me personally, don't believe that a wife should do. Your wife, you shouldn't be out inside laying down and my baby is outside pushing the snow. Unless I'm sick or something is wrong with me. I just don't look at it like that. The heavier things, the more things that more laborious things, I believe that men should take the lead in doing that. That's my view. One of the things that came to me as well, it does not go with your question, but in the church, I also believe that men and women, the older ones, should teach the young ones. It's biblical. And it's not just up to, yes, the parents at home. You should teach your children. But I also believe that the church should make it a point of duty to teach this very topic and other ways out, and how the young women should treat their husbands and how husbands should treat their wives. I believe that it's very important.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes.
Minister Lincoln, really quick. I would just like to adjust my initial answer where, yes, there is some specific things in the house, like the lawn. For example, last month I was in Jamaica and I was preaching and we had a heavy snowfall. And whilst I was there, I was worrying about my wife. So she sent me a video for the first time ever she was using the snowblower and shoveling in the snow. And my God, I couldn't even preach. I couldn't focus on the assignment because my wife was outside pushing the snow
Right.
blow. So just to adjust.
Right. I think you're more talking roles inside the home
Yeah.
versus, right. And so that's why we're saying those
Doctor,
kind of role more
can,
aligned to
can I
men.
just chime in here?
Yes,
Because
absolutely. Come on in.
when I was growing up, I remember my mother using the machete to cut the yard. Not my father. My mother was the one that was doing that. And therefore I recognize that. Let's go to Proverbs 31, because Proverbs 31 outlines a lot of things about the women that we miss. We only think women should be domesticated in a certain order. But when we look at Proverbs 31, we realize that that woman is a businesswoman. That woman is an investor. That woman is a wise master builder then, right? She builds her home. And it doesn't mean that certain roles are given to her. It means, therefore, that she uses her abilities and her skills to take care of the home and the husband and the finances and everything in the marriage. All right, God bless. I just wanted to say that quickly.
Thank you. One person chimed in and they said, let's address how society also impacts this as well. She said, for example, her husband works so hard as much as he wants to help more in the house, he just don't have the energy. So again, we thank you so much for that question, Shika. So I guess we were saying, at the top of it that, it's strike a balance. It's both communication and how it works, because there is not a one size fit all. But again, it all depends on your dynamic. So if you know for sure that this man is not just a lazy man who just lay down and watch you work, but you understand he's out there in the field, I may be home or I work too, but I'm home before him and can be able to do a little bit more because, he drives or he work or he go cross country or he go out of town or, sometimes there's different work that is very, demanding on the body and he come home can be a bit tough. But as long as both, again, if the dynamics work for you. So we just really want to, put that in perspective because we want to help the brothers who just lazy. Because the truth of the matter is, some man just lazy, just them nah do it and them just lazy. They just, I'm telling you, I don't have no lazy friend. Because if I come to your house and I realize you're lazy, me drop you. We just can't be friends. I just don't do lazy that you're there. Some men lazy and them nasty. Them don't, and let's just face it, them don't clean, them don't what, them just leave everything on them wife, them drop even them underwear in them living room, them just lazy and nasty. So we are talking about men who really want to empower men, help the wife, pick up your own slacks, stop leaving your stuff. M is for mommy and not maid. You understand? W is wife, is not helper. So we want to just help those women who are struggling with that. We can just call a thing a thing. I just want to call a thing before we leave. Some men just lazy and nasty. And we're saying to the brothers that that you're not doing anything. Pick up the slack and help your darling wife. And so that she can help her to help you. And so that the marriage can stay happy. And you don't have to come to Bishop Morris and Pastor Clive for counseling when you're just nasty and just need to help a little bit more. That's all we're saying. Just help out a little bit. You understand? I'm going to the chat before we go. Elder Richard Campbell, thank you again. He said, I tend to get the car washed, put the gas in. I love to do grocery and cook. My wife loves clean, ironing, and wash. Lady Muir says, I'm spoiled by my husband. Big up to you, Lady Muir. She said he washes my car and put gas in it, and all I do is drive. He sounds just like me. I try to do that to my best of my ability. The Falconers, good morning to you. Joining us from Jamaica. Good morning to the Falconers. Yeah, communication then is key in the household. Let us talk because Elder Richard Campbell said something and it really chime in and it falls in. He says, especially to us who are girl dad, like Elder Muir and myself, we're girl dad. He said, I believe fathers should take their daughters out on their first date so that they know what to expect or should expect of their husbands or suitor when they are seeking to get married. When they're seeking to get married. How important is that? And I think all of us on the line, all of us here have daughters. All of us here has daughters. How important is that? And I'll just do a round table in this our final hour. We'll do a round table. Pastor Clive, talk to me. How important is that for us when our daughters get to that age? And I think even taking them out for dinners and so forth too, so they kind of learn that. So when a guy just like them and tell them to stop, they don't just get jiggly and excited because they're not used to that. Talk to me, Pastor Clive, about the importance of us fathers leading that charge, and we'll come right around.
Very, very important for us to. I have 4 girls. My oldest is like 25 and 26. The youngest is 4, and I show them the love that as much as possible, so that they know how a man should really treat a woman. And I give them, when they come by me, they know that that is a loving person, and they should not settle for less than what. And I tell them that. I says, from they were young, from they reach a certain age, I start telling them from them around some of the maybe 1 or 2 of them because as they're growing up, and they're going out into the world and people are seeing them and they start to have their cherries coming up. I started to tell them, I says, guys, gonna want one thing is to pick your cherry. Listen, and I start teach them and show them the way so that they do not find themselves in the compromising situation. They know that as all some not every man, all some of these young boy want is your cherry.
Pastor Clive, cherry, plum, apple, mango,
mango, whatever. Right?
What is the cherry, Pastor Clive? I'm trying to follow you. I'm not sure because Chef Roy is cooking. It's still related to that.
You guys are trying to get me trouble on AGG radio this morning. Well, to be honest with you, we grew up in Jamaica, and maybe from my background, we grew up. As soon as you see a little girl and she has a little bit of breasts, you want to be the first. And, and even in the church, you have some Pentecostal playboys that's in the church. They will be singing in the choir. They'll be playing instrument, especially playing instrument, and they're in the church. And all the young girls are giddy over these, they're talented and they're great at certain things. And praise and worship leaders, so, and then you will have older men in the church, married or not married. They are perverts. And you got to tell your kids, say, listen to me. And listen, I have Acts and 2:38.
Yes. Thank you, Pastor Clive. I won't get you in any further trouble. Minister Lennox, talk to me the importance, and let me also chime in that even when we do this for our daughters, how do we also model it for our sons? So talk to me on that topic, as we mentioned the importance of you taking your daughter out, especially in her first date. Because I always believe there's a little bit of sensitivity, as much as with the son, but with the daughter. So she kind of understands, as Pastor Clive said, the kind of man that you want, because girls often date their father, because what it is, they're looking for the man, the characteristics of that dad, and what they see in how to model that. So talk to me about that. We have about we're running out of time, but we're doing the round table before we close. Go, Lennox Brown, Minister Brown.
She'll get what you give. So whatever you display in the household, like for me, my daughter, she's very intelligent, very. For example, there was one time, me and my wife, we were playing rough, but she stood there looking on, and she was she's wondering what's going on, and it looks very rough, but we were playing, and she came right in the middle of us and said, daddy, no, you're hurting mom. And my wife and I, we had to stop and say, no, sweetie, we're playing, this is adult type playing and all of that. So it is important for you to display the right thing before your daughter, because you don't want her to think that this is the norm. You don't want her to think that this is the type of man that exists out there because my dad is this type of man. And
That's
it's
right.
also important for your son not to see you be a woman beater, hit your
Mm.
wife, choke her, talk to her a certain way, curse her out. It is important because they pick up that type of spirit, they pick up that type of energy, and it follows them throughout. There are certain things that I don't accept to this day because of my parents and what I saw. So it's important for you to let them see the right thing.
Thank you so much. Elder Muir, you had started. Elder Muir.
Thank you so much again. For me, I realized that I've fallen short in taking out my daughters on dates. I've fallen short. We have gone out, but not enough, not adequate. And it is extremely important because, some persons will only talk, but when they have the experience of how they should be treated, men are not opening doors anymore. They're not removing seats for them to sit. They're not being polite. They're just rough. And what I recognize is that these young men, they have nothing. Well, let me be very careful because I know I don't want to put that paint on every young man.
Yes.
But some of these young men, they have nothing in them to be to care for a woman. They have the rough, what they would call gargan style, or back in the days, bullies, bedroom bullies. That's the word I'm looking for. So if you don't teach your daughter, if you don't model, they will find themselves in some situation. As a matter of fact, I know time is going, but I just need to say this. When a girl is born, do you realize that she's groomed for marriage? Everything. Oh, you're not going to get, oh, do this because of your husband. Oh, you should be this. But what is a man groomed for, or a boy? We have to pay attention to these things. And as Christians growing our children, we have to be careful of how we groom them. Yes, a man must be rough. What about the girl? Shouldn't the girl be rough too, but be allowed to exhibit that delicate and that, poise quality as well? A virtuous woman, tact woman, so these are things that we should look into. We don't have enough time, so I won't delve deeply in it, but it's extremely important.
Thank you so much. So we're saying that there must be a balance also. So while we do that for the girls, also for the boys, Bishop, I'm coming to you, sir. The importance of us father modeling that behavior and taking our sons and daughters out.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, no, time is far, ahead of us.
Yes.
But I just want to say one thing quickly before I say that. Where us men are concerned, it's not only the home, because sometimes we have a lot of single mothers in church, and so we as men need also to show up at church, not only in the pulpit. A lot of us who are preachers, we find ourselves in the pulpit, and so a lot of these young men that are coming up, they only want the pulpit because they think that's it. But they don't see us when there's work to get done at church. They don't see us painting. They don't see us passing the mop. They don't see us doing the vacuuming. They don't see us using a hammer. Some of them even know what a hammer looks like, how to turn a screwdriver. Right? So it is us men also who have to teach, because there are some things that a woman can't teach a boy child to do. It takes a man. And so when a father is not present, it's important that we as men in the church teach them by showing them exactly what to do, by they looking at us doing it. At church, I give the boys, I said, look, man, all that garbage in the ladies' bathroom, the men's bathroom, and so every Sunday, you guys go empty it, right?
Yeah.
They see me take them for mop and broom, and mop the place and pass the broom and so on. So we as men got to teach them. Otherwise, we think it's just a lady's job, and they're going to grow up like that. Think it's just a lady's job to do all of these things. And yes, it is important. I'm not certain. I don't think I'll take my daughter out on her first date. I'm not certain, but it becomes, when it comes down to like birthdays and so on, it becomes a norm now, and they expect that. And yes, I do take them out on to a restaurant anywhere they wanted to go, their choice. And with girls, so once it's your choice, they don't think about the pocketbook, they go all out. Right, and so on. But yes, it is vital, it's important, because your job is to show them who a real man is, because their definition of a man is you. You are the first man in their life. You are the first man that they see. You are the first man that they live with. You are the first man that they grow up with. And so you are the man. And so when they are looking for a man, they're going to look for somebody that resembles that. And that's the reason why a lot of wives now actually call their husband daddy, because it's coming from their daddy. God bless you, sir.
Very, very powerful, Bishop. Very, very powerful. So we're modeling that behavior. Very, very powerful. Chef Ro, we're coming to you as we're wrapping things. Talk to me, Chef, about the importance of us taking our children out, and I'll give you an opportunity to tell us where we can find you as we are coming to the close of this podcast.
It's very important for me. I mean, I didn't grow up with a father, so the way to treat a woman is just by God's grace and trial and error. Oh my God, very important, very important. So for me, growing up, I was very promiscuous. As a young boy, I was exposed to females at a very young age, like 5 and 6, going up into 10 years old. And it caused me to have this crave for something, for this experience. And it made me do things that I'm not proud of. But I thank God for his saving grace, and he's washed me.
Yes.
Even right now, he washed me. I have not been perfect. And now that I'm married with 3 children, I never thought that I would have get married with 3 children at that. And I'm so blessed. And just to hear you men talk, it's encouraging. But for me, it's important to treat, I wouldn't want to any man to treat my daughter how I treated any woman when I was younger. You know what I mean? So it's important to have teachers. It's important to have real men, not men who just talk. I talk about real men. They train up. I mean, a good daddy, even a stranger could be a daddy. Not everybody who impregnates a woman is a father.
Yes.
To just have real fathers to take on the mantle, to raise up men, young men, and teach them and say, this is how you do it, and don't do that. And I do believe the importance of going out with your daughters. My daughter, she's so sweet. She said, Daddy, I'm going to marry you. I'm like, baby girl, I'm your father. You can't marry me. You know what I mean? So she's 4 years old, so smart, so intelligent. This morning she wanted to come on the show with me, but I didn't for next time. But she's so sweet, and I wouldn't want nobody to spoil that. I'm so protective. Today she's asked to go to a birthday party. I said to my wife, are you gonna stay with her? Are you just dropping her off? She said no. Well, I said, if there's not gonna be anybody with her, I don't think it's a good idea, because I want to be protective. I want to be protective of, that's mine. God gave me that. Children are an heritage to the Lord, so I have to be very protective. So that's my views on it.
Thank you so much, Chef Ro. And just before you go, Bishop said something that I really want to tap into. Bishop said something that was very, very important, and Chef Ro really touched on it. For those who don't have fathers, to really show them, it is very important for us in the church, especially us who are in leadership position, to model that as a father, to tap into that and to sow into them. You don't have to be your biological son to be your son, but you can tap that into that and recognize the lack and the need, and you can be just as that to him. And mothers girls as well, boys as well, who don't have that mother, women in church, we can be that mother to them. See that need, identify the need, and fill that gap, because a lot of persons will tell you they didn't have biological father and don't know what love feel until they have come in church and meet their pastor, and their pastor has been a father to them. Their pastor have impacted their life, and minister in the church have impacted supported their life, and love on them and let them truly get to experience what the love of a father feels like, and that helped them even in their marriage. Some people even later on in marriage that they really come into that wholeness of father and, from their past and from. So it's very important. And for us leaders on the line, we know our role is not just preach and teach, as Pastor said, just not with a mic, but holistically as you serve in the church, so you serve your home, and we get these life lessons as well from church. So thank you so much. Before we come to Minister, we want to ask Chef Ro, tell us, we're running out of time. We have gotten a few minutes as we're past our time. Please, sir, we want to thank you so much for coming on to our program. Want to thank you for cooking for us this morning. Chef, tell us where we can find you. We want to empower you and empower your business. Real quick, tell us where we can find you.
So you can find us at www.hkkatering.ca. 416-558-4065. You can reach us, send us a text, or you can call. Our email is number one, not O-N-E, number one, Heaven's Kitchen, HEAVENS Kitchen, KITCHEN @gmail.com. Reach out to us anytime. Somebody will always respond to you within 24 hours or less.
Social media platform, tell us where we can find you, your handles.
Our Instagram handle is one, not O-N-E, but number one, Heaven's Kitchen. That's our Instagram handle. Our Facebook is Chef Leon Rowe, and you can reach us there.
Thank you so much, Chef, for joining us. Minister Lennox Brown, host of Transcend. Talk to me about thank you. Thank you so much, Chef Rowe, for being with us this morning. Minister Lennox Brown, we want to thank you as well. Minister Brown is the host of Transcend, the Thinking People Talk Show. Tell us real quick about Transcend, what you have coming up before we wrap.
Yeah, so Transcend is a Christian talk show that empowers Christians to think outside of the box, as well as to address real topics that address real people in church. So it is a platform where we discuss various things: the home, the marriage, sex, abuse, you name it, we discuss it. And we will be coming to HGG radio as well. So that's it.
Thank you so much. There you have it. You have an exclusive. So Transcend will be coming shortly on HGG radio. So again, we want to thank those who are joining us. Thanks all our listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in to HGG radio at the Ironman Empowerment Podcast. Somebody asked a question: is this available on YouTube too? Yes, of course. If you go HGG radio, you can find it on YouTube. If you go to Ebenezer Tabernacle Ministry, you can find it, and also at my handle at Dr. Links Bryan, also on YouTube, you can find the show. Of course, you can find this recording. We want to encourage everyone to share, to like it, to subscribe it. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, HGG Radio, HGG Radio and HGG Ministry. Please go on to YouTube, like the program, share it, their Facebook handle. Let somebody else get it. Of course, once we do this, we're empowering the entire generation, and that is our purpose. That is our role. That's what we want to do. We want to keep it going. Again, this morning, we want to thank our very special guest, Chef Leon Rowe, Executive Chef of Heaven's Kitchen Catering Company, Minister Lennox Brown, host of Transcend Radio. Of course, my host, Bishop Hopton Morris, Pastor Clive Atkinson, and Elder Edmund Muir. Thank you so much for joining us on this program. Just want to let you know, for next week on the Ironman Empowerment Podcast, we want to invite you to join us for another thought-provoking discussion. Nepotism, classism, and racism. Should it have a place in the church? You cannot afford to miss this one. So until next time, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week again for another exciting episode. Remember, it is the Ironman Empowerment Podcast, where we're not just talk, but we're informative. Until then, take care. Be good. Join us for the Ironman Empowerment Podcast, where we discuss matters close to the heart. This and every Saturday at 8 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on HGG Radio. I am your host, Dr. Lincoln Bryan, alongside your co-host, Pastor Clive Atkinson, Bishop Hopton Morris, and Elder Edmund Muir.
What came out so far?
The Ironman Empowerment Podcast.
We're not just talk, we're informative.
I stand in victory. What a mighty God. Hey, what a mighty God. Oh, what a mighty God. What a mighty God. What a mighty God. What a mighty God.